Hey everyone, it's Stephanie with Bottom of the Bin, and today we're making a greeting card for our legacy crafter from our viral unbinning series of I bought an 80-year-old lady's entire craft collection. I don't know why I put quotes, that's what it's called. So I'm very excited. We sent her a card last month. It was a bit more of like just like a flat, very basic card that I sent along with my Patreon cards. However, I want to make something more 3D and embellish and use some of my florals and do some of the stuff that I love doing when I make cards. So that's what we'll be doing today. I also wanted to show you the Patreon cards that we made. I made them a little bit more spiced up this month. It's going to be a little bit more money to ship them, but I didn't mind, especially because it's one of the patrons' birthdays. So I figured everyone would get a little 3D embellished one this time. And if you do want to sign up, our link is in the description below. There is a specific tier that you can help support monetarily in order to get a thank you card sent from me every month. So make sure to check that out. All right, so I pre-selected some paper and thought that and stuff that I thought would look cute together. This purple was really calling to me. Unfortunately, I don't know her favorite colors or anything like that, so we're just gonna have to go off of my aesthetic. And I was looking at the different sentiments, and the one that really stuck out to me was special moments, because I feel like our legacy crafter has already created such special moments for me and our friends watching, and I wanted to make sure to, you know, kind of honor that with this card. And I also went ahead and just cut out the card base ahead of time, so we didn't have to worry about that. So let's get started. I'm gonna cut this like I normally do, so we have a few different pieces that we could use in case we make other cards later. And I talk a lot about this when I make cards, but I have a very specific way I cut my 12 by 12 cardstock so that I can kind of use every single piece. So I first cut it 10 by 7, and oh, I did it I always do it the wrong way. The way that it faces, I meant to make these, you know, vertical, but they're horizontal, but that's okay because the one card that I'm gonna make vertical will come from this. And so I'm gonna kind of, I think I like this being at the top. So let's start from 7 down here. So it ends up being a 5 by 7. I think that'll be really cute. And then this extra strip has a border. I'm just going to trim off really quick. And that's so I can make it 2 by 6, because the border doesn't count in the overall sizing of the paper. So this will now get trimmed to 2 2x6s, which I will use to make double-sided bookmarks. And then this extra little piece here is a great thank you card for anytime I send out a gift, or to my patrons who don't pay for a greeting card, they just get like little thank you notes on paper like that. So that is perfect. And then we have these for next time and this for our card today. Now with this, since I know it's going to be the front, I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more, just taking off a bit on each side. That way we can put a really nice border on it and it'll stick out from, you know, from just being plain. I probably should have evened it up a little bit so this stayed in the middle, but I think it's going to be okay. Basically, instead of just like sticking it on like this and having a white border, which you can absolutely do, I like to make it stand out. And so I grabbed some purples to see if we can find one that matches very well. And I assume there's going to be a couple that match just because I have a pretty decent variety of purples. So we'll pick the one that we think looks best. Initially I was thinking like one of these darker colors, but now that I'm looking at the paper, I actually think the sort of mid-tone purple that we have, still on the lighter side, is going to kind of make everything just pop perfectly. So we'll get this trimmed as well. It is a bit more textured on this side, so I'm going to make sure this part stays face up. And we're going to cut this the same way that we just did that one. So we'll do our 10 by 7 first, and then cut this down so that we have our extra little pieces for next time all ready to go. And I usually keep paper together, like if it came from a paper pack, I'll keep the pieces I cut with it. And if it's just something solid like this, I'll just stick it with whatever paper we're using so that I have something that matches for the next time. All right, so I'm gonna pick this one, and I think that's absolutely perfect. It came out really, really well. So I have some more paper over here. This is the one with the sentiments. I know I want this one, so I'm gonna cut that out. And just to make it easy on myself, I'll just cut all of the ones on the side. Well, actually, I really don't need to cut all of them. They're pretty well laid out that I could just pop in here and grab the piece that I want, and we'll save these for another time. And that is exactly what I wanted. Now, I already know, since this is a really busy background, that this is going to need a border as well to kind of separate it from the back. And, oh, I need to trim the top there. Very subtle, but I can see it. So I think we're just going to use the same purple. We have this leftover piece, which, oh wow, that's actually pretty perfect. So we'll just trim off the edge here. And with these, I like to tape them down first, so that way I know exactly where it's being cut. There's a tiny little piece there that didn't cut all the way. We'll use our purple scissors to match our purple theme. I wish I coordinated my shirt with this today, but I didn't really know. I was just kind of picking out pieces as I went. Also, I think because of the way that this was laid out, this side isn't as, like, this side's cut off more than this side, so I think we're gonna trim this up a bit to make it look more balanced. Okay, great. Oh, and I got this little frame, so actually maybe we should use this instead. I was going through some of the pieces in my collection and seeing what I like, and I don't think we also need the purple background if we're gonna do this, because it's gonna get hidden. So I'm gonna line it up just kind of right there, and I'll trim the top so that when I glue this together, we don't have that part poking up. I do remember to grab that. It's sitting right there, but I literally forgot for a second. All right. And so now, well, let's actually, before I glue things down, I always kind of look at them to make sure it's in the layout and the configuration that I like, because once it's taped down, it's hard to pull up. I use a tape runner, so there's not really any room for error. And that is really cute. So it doesn't need the purple because the frame makes it stand out. However, I still feel like it blends. I wonder if it's blending too much. I mean, probably not. You can see it fine, which is, you know, what I'm always concerned about when I'm using too many patterns on top of each other. And I do plan to adorn this one with some flowers, so I think that'll help break it up a bit more. I grabbed these, which are a really nice match. I thought some of these purples went well because these are roses and these are roses. I also grabbed these, but these are more, I don't know, like, they're not roses. I feel like they're a bit more fantasy. They could be used maybe for like a fairy card or something a bit more whimsical. And then these Prima flowers match really good as well, and they are roses. So I think any of these three would work. I kind of like this darker toned one here. But yeah, once we place those, I think it'll break it up a little bit. So I feel confident kind of taping all of this down. So we'll get our tape runner here. I have a little bit left in this purple one. Oh no, I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Oh, I do. So this is the same. Oh, that was it. It's the same brand that I use, the AdTech, but it's a dot glue runner instead. So I don't know how well it's gonna show on camera, but it has like little dots instead of just like one long strip. But I'm just gonna probably reuse this one and refill it with like the longer, just the regular strips, which are the ones that I normally use, the ones that aren't dots. Oh, I'm getting a little bit more out of it. Okay, good. We're getting a little bit more here. Perfect. Oh, okay. I want the big rose on top. Oh yeah, and the words. I would like the words to be the right side up as well. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this here, and I think that is perfect. So now we will grab the sentiment and the frame. So with this, we have a couple of options. We can lay it like exactly in the middle, or we can kind of put it a little up higher, which is actually going to cover that really pretty flower that I liked, but that's okay. I don't think it would look great on the bottom. I'm honestly liking the top for this one. Before I glue this down though, I'm going to play around with the flowers and see what I want. I also grabbed this sheet of paper because I thought maybe we could fussy cut this and lay it over the top. I don't know if it would stick out way too much, but let's play with that first as well. So I actually don't mind fussy cutting as long as it's not like a lot of things in a row. Something like this that's just small and shouldn't take too long is totally good with me. But some projects, if I have to fussy cut everything, I'll try to do it ahead of time so that I don't waste a lot of time sitting here and trying to plan it out. And these are the Tim Holtz Studios or the Tim Holtz scissors from Tonic Studios. They are smooth like butter. I used to fussy cut before I had these, and I hated it even more. Like, it was not a fun, smooth, easy process for me. But once I got these, it literally cuts smooth like butter, and the scissors do all of the work. I mean, really, I should be turning the paper, not the scissors. But yeah, I definitely vouch for these scissors. I think they are a must-have, and I'll show you as soon as I cut this out why I think these are better than just using regular ones. Now, when I fussy cut, I always leave a bit of a border, and that's because it just makes it stand out more. Kind of the same theory that we had like with the border on the cardstock and with the sentiment, wanting it to pop out a bit from the background, leaving a little bit of that on there helps, and then you don't have to worry about being like fully accurate. So I'm hoping the scissors will show, but these, no, it might not. They have like the tiniest little teeth right here, which just makes it cut so well. I can't even explain how well it is. One of my favorites. And so I was thinking, when we lay this down here, this can kind of overlay. It's a bit bigger than I wanted. I think we can cut some of these flowers off though without making it too obvious. Let's see if we trim it up just a little bit. I almost feel like we can cut this one off too, even though it's so cute. I think it'll flow a bit better and it won't cover the text. Special moment sentiment. Let's let's lay this just right and kind of see. It's not exactly what I wanted, but we could possibly use a 3D flower there, or let me just test what it would look like if I just cut this one out and kind of layered it on top of itself, to see if we can fill in this missing gap. That's a maybe. I don't think I have flowers small enough. Oh wait, if we use this, these little ones might fit there nicely. These are from Prima. Prima is one of my favorite brands for paper flowers. My absolute favorite is Little Birdie. And then I would say my second favorite is Prima. Oh, okay, that one's actually a little strand, but we want to use, or a little bouquet. We want to use one. Oh, that's perfect. That's literally perfect. I don't want to use my fussy cutting scissors to cut wire though. I do have a pair of scissors for everything. These are like my messy, I use to cut tape and packaging scissors. So I don't care if this one gets messed up. But I would cry if my Tim Holtz scissors got messed up. Oh, that's really cute. All right. Then we can grab some of these and kind of put them there on the bottom. So that's an option. As I was saying, I really like this kind of darker color as well. Kind of just hold it there before I cut it. Ooh, that's pretty. It's maybe a little bit bigger than I want, but I don't hate it. I just think with the lightness kind of going on here, it might be a little too much. There's also this one, which feels a bit better. It's way down in there. Ooh, you know what? I think that's the one. I thought darker would look better, but I think that's exactly what I'm going for. So let's trim this one off. Okay, that's perfect. I usually try to do things in groups of 3. I don't want it to overwhelm this card, but I do want to see if maybe we stuck a couple of these little tiny ones over here, if it filled out a little better. I honestly think, well, I don't know. Without it, it looks like a little not enough, and then with it, it looks a little too much. Let me cut them. I always like to play with a few different configurations because sometimes you don't think of a way to like lay it down until you just kind of like move it around the paper, and then you're like, oh, I didn't think about putting it there, but that kind of works. Okay, so initially I was thinking of just adding it maybe here and here. Ooh, wait, that does kind of work. Or one can go there. That also works too, though, to be honest. I don't think it needs more up here, though. Or does it? Oh my gosh, sometimes I have a trouble editing. And I end up just adding way too much. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's a really good balance. It's covering the special a little bit, but we'll make it work. When we glue it down, we'll make sure it looks good. All right, so I want to put it just about here, maybe down a bit more. We'll use our tape runner on this one. So right, cutting off the A tiny bit. Get this all taped up so it doesn't move anywhere, and just right. Well, actually, I'm going down a little bit more than I said, but I think it'll be good there. All right, and then for this, I really want to glue this down with some Fabri-Tac just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I would probably use a glue gun, but I've been trying to kind of stay away from the glue guns. This isn't a sticker, is it? No. Just because I burnt myself pretty badly one time. I had a card very similar to this, and I went a little overboard and I kept adding more flowers, and the very last flower I put on, I got the hot glue on my finger and I was trying to take it off, so I was like passing it onto my other fingers inadvertently and just really did a great job of hurting myself. So now I only use hot glue if I really have to. This stuff works great. It takes a little bit longer to set, but that's fine because first of all, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you want to move stuff around. And, you know, I usually don't send these out the exact same day, so it doesn't matter if I have to let them out to dry. If I was in a rush making a card for someone I had to give them that day, I'd probably, you know, risk the hot glue, but this tends to work pretty well. Okay, probably don't even need that much. It's probably too much. All right, hopefully that's good there. And then this one, again, I don't mind if it like pops off a little bit from the edge of the card. That never really bothers me. And what I'm gonna do is put the glue on here so that we don't have a bunch of glue hanging off like the back of the page and falling downwards, which, I mean, it wouldn't really matter, but I'd rather it stick exactly where it needs to be and not have like an extra mess of glue behind it. All right, that should be good. Okay, I zoomed in a bit more so you can kind of see better what I'm doing. But yeah, I think the glue is just getting a little old at this point. I could just take a needle and try to maybe unclog it. I think we'll be okay. All right, so I'm gonna place the first one there because I know I want it to cover that little hole where we cut out the paper flower from. And then from there, we'll figure out where the other two go. Okay, so I want them to overlap just a tiny bit. And then the third one. All right, I think that looks good there. And I want the big one right on the edge. And then the little one will probably cover that gap. Okay, I think that looks good. A lot of it's just really playing around and seeing what your eye picks up as, you know, just what looks good to you. There's no perfect science to it. It's just about having fun and making something that you like. All right. Aw, I think that's so perfect. So I want to add a few more things to this, nothing too crazy, but I love using like pearl dots or pop dots just to add a bit of shine and shimmer. So let me grab those real quick. I have the stickles as well, which are really good for glitter. And I don't have a whole lot of purple, it looks like. Is that it? It's just these two. I don't know which one matches better. Probably the lighter one because it pulls a little bit of blue from the background. It's sort of like a pale grayish blue. And so what I do with these is I just kind of embellish areas that I think need a little bit of attention. Sometimes I'll put like dots under a sentiment, or I'll just like add things on leaves. But for these, since these flowers are very pretty, but they don't have any extra bling going on, I'm just gonna see what this looks like. And I just squeezed a little bit on there, and I'm gonna use my finger to just spread it out so you just get like a thin layer of glitter instead of big chunks. And then might have put a little bit too much, so I'll grab some excess and throw it on these. Now a lot of flowers that I use already have glitter on them, sort of like this, but if they don't, I absolutely can add my own this way. So it's a very subtle touch that, in my opinion, makes a big difference. And I do have a special, I guess, message request to pass along to you. So during the Q&A where we caught up with our 80-year-old crafter to get some of our burning questions answered, she revealed shockingly that she is not an 80-year-old. She is a 79, and she will be 80 in July. And I don't think there's a sneaky way of doing it without her knowing, because she watches the videos and probably looks at some of the comments. But people have been asking if they could send her a card. And so I think that's a great idea. If you want to make our legacy crafter a card for her 80th birthday in July, you can send one to my shop, bottom of the bin, of course. The link to our website is in the description, and from there you can find our address. Just make sure you put that it's for her so that I can forward them along to her. Now, we are keeping her name private for privacy reasons, so if you want to put a name or refer to her as something on there, we've been calling her LC for short, Legacy Crafter LC, so you can use that. And then that way we could share some birthday love and hopefully make her day a bit brighter. I think it came out really cute. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next unbinning and the next crafting video. Bye!